Every month, your photos, your backups, and your files all live on someone else's computer, and you're paying rent for the privilege. The problem is everything's scattered and you don't really control any of it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix it. One device in your house that handles photos, backups, and a private cloud. And after you buy it, there's no monthly bills, and you'll have a device that allows you to grow. So before we get into the fix, I want to actually walk through what most people's setup looks like right now, because it's a mess and most of us don't even realize it. Your phone photos are auto backing up to iCloud or Google Photos. Your documents might be in Google Drive or maybe OneDrive if you're on Windows. Some people have a Dropbox folder sitting there from years ago that they still pay for, and then your backups are somewhere entirely different. There's no single place where all of it lives, and that's the problem. I've genuinely had moments in the past where I couldn't tell you which service a specific file was on, and that's the problem we're trying to solve. And the worst part of it is the eventual need to upgrade, and that being blasted in your face on a daily basis until you actually do. Basically, that pop-up that says you're out of space and you need to upgrade your plan. And so you do, because what else are you going to do? And that's the moment where they've got you. And before you know it, you're paying monthly for more storage and kicking that problem down the road until you have to pay more. So here's the fix, and it's just one box. A NAS, which stands for Network Attached Storage. It sits in your house, plugged into your network, and it holds all of it. Your photos, your files, your backups, all in one place and somewhere you actually own. A lot of people think a NAS is some tech-savvy home lab thing that only people like me run, and that's not really true. Modern NAS devices are pretty much an appliance. You set it up through a web browser, click through some of the menus, and you're done. For most people getting started, I'd point you at something like a Synology DS225 Plus. It's a 2-bay beginner NAS, and it handles photos, files, and backups without any issues. But if you think you'll grow into it and want more room down the line, something like the DS925 Plus gives you more bays, more power, and will grow with you. And to be clear, you're not locked into Synology either. I've run UGREEN NAS devices for years now, and their DXP 4800 Plus Pro or their new GT is a great alternative. They also have a 2-bay device if you're interested in that. The one thing to know there is each of these devices run their own app ecosystem. So if you specifically want Synology Photos or Active Backup, which I'll get to, you need Synology hardware. In general, you can do similar things with both, but when you get down to specific items, Synology tends to have better app support. Now here is the huge disclaimer. The drives are sold separately. The NAS price is not your total cost. So your real one-time number is the NAS plus 2 drives at a minimum, and that's what you need to put up against a cloud bill. You need to keep that in mind because it matters for upfront costs. Okay, so with the hardware out of the way, let's talk about the part people care most about, and that's photos. This is the iCloud and Google Photos alternative that people generally want. The easy option for most people is Synology Photos. It's built in, it's set up through a GUI, and there's no command line configuration or anything like that. When it's installed, you can then install the mobile app, point it at your NAS, and your phone will auto backup the same way iCloud or Google Photos does. I used the auto backup myself for years, and the photos back up to your NAS after you take them and connect to Wi-Fi. That's it. That is the single biggest win for getting off of the cloud. If you don't want to go the Synology path, UGREEN has a Photos app as well, and you can do the same thing, it's just a slightly different setup process. Now, if you want the power user route, there is Immich, and this is what I've personally switched to. It's open source, self-hosted, runs in Docker, and it's very fast. Honestly, way faster than Synology Photos in my usage. But I need to set expectations honestly. Immich is the harder path. You need Docker running, you've got to maintain it, and it's not the thing I'd suggest to a beginner on day one. So to be clear, you don't need Docker or Linux skills for the easy path. But if you want to go the power user path, that's when you're going to start to get into it. If you're buying a Synology or UGREEN device, their photo application will cover you completely. But Immich is there if you ever want to grow into it. So with photos out of the way, the next thing is your files, so your private Dropbox or Google Drive replacement. On Synology, that will be Synology Drive. It syncs across all of your devices, it does file versioning, and it has on-demand sync, which means your computer won't get filled up with every file you own. The stuff you actually open downloads from the NAS, and the rest stays on the NAS. I ran Synology Drive for years before I moved on, and from firsthand experience, it genuinely replaces Dropbox and Google Drive for day-to-day usage, and it was and still is one of my favorite applications. With that said, if you want something that does the same but more, there's Nextcloud, and there's actually even more options, but we're only going to look at Nextcloud. I actually replaced Synology Drive with Nextcloud because I moved off a Synology NAS and couldn't use it anymore. And I noticed that there was no functional difference for daily use, but it's not nearly as user-friendly to set up or maintain, so I'd only go that route if you specifically want more out of it or if you're not using a Synology NAS. Now, this is the part where it can get confusing for a lot of people, and it's around backups. On Synology, there's a free tool called Active Backup for Business, and it'll back up your PCs, your Macs, and more. So that's another subscription you stop paying for, but here's the thing people get wrong. A NAS by itself is not a backup. It's storage, and when configured properly, will provide redundancy, but you still have one device sitting in your house with one copy of your data. If that NAS gets stolen, has a hardware issue, or gets hit with ransomware, all of that data is gone. Every photo, every file is gone. And that's why NAS backups are so important. So the rule you want to follow is called 3-2-1. The short version is you keep at least one copy of your data off of your NAS device. That could be a second drive you rotate. It could be a cloud backup target like Backblaze, or it could be a second NAS sitting in another location. I run my offsite copy with a separate NAS, but the point is that one copy lives somewhere your main NAS cannot take down with it. Please do not skip this, because a NAS without a backup plan is just a single point of failure with all of your data on it. And with that, I want to point out the elephant in the room, which is the fact that we're moving everything local to avoid the cloud. So why would we do this if we still have to pay cloud costs to back up our data? And it comes down to one single point. When your data is in the cloud, your hope is that it's being maintained properly and backed up on the cloud provider side, but that's not always the case. There are plenty of examples out there of data loss that has occurred on the cloud side. So this should be viewed as an insurance policy. You're taking your data, bringing it local to avoid unnecessary costs and to improve privacy, but you're also able to ensure that the data is safe by having multiple copies. Now, the real beginner hurdle is getting to your files when you're away from home. The easy way to do this on Synology is Quick Connect, which works out of the box, and UGREEN has a similar service too. If you want more control, you use a VPN like Tailscale or WireGuard. The downside to these services are that you're generally giving complete access to your NAS, or in the case of a VPN, your local network. There are ways around it, and that's what something like TwinGate, who is the sponsor of this portion of the video, allows you to do. Rather than accessing everything, TwinGate allows you to expose only specific services instead of the whole NAS device. So in practical terms, you can give access to Synology photos, but not the entire NAS if you don't want to. There's full access controls, and in general, for users who want to use their NAS as the center of their family's data, it can make sense to move to something like TwinGate. Security has multiple layers, and being able to isolate down access to the services that users actually need is a huge benefit, and that's why I've implemented it in that exact scenario. Now here's the honest trade-off or benefit depending on how you want to view it. When your data is in the cloud, security and uptime are handled for you. It's not your problem, and there's really nothing you need to do other than secure your account. With a NAS, you're the IT department, and that's the real cost of owning your data, and it's something you should know going in. You are responsible for backup, security, and more. But when it's done right, you simply get a better experience than you've most likely had with cloud providers. So from a math perspective, you're paying more upfront to avoid future monthly expenses and the increases that normally come with them. You're also paying electric costs, and drives do eventually fail and need replacing. So you're trading a forever subscription for a one-time buy, plus power, plus potential drive replacements. Over a few years, you should come out ahead, but it's going to cost way more upfront. The benefit, however, is you own your data the whole time, and you end up with way more storage space than you most likely have with your cloud provider. So with that in mind, who should not do this? If you want zero maintenance, if you never want to think about any of this again, the cloud is generally easier, and to be clear, this option isn't for everyone. But if you're brand new and you do want out, here's the simple path you can follow. Get a 2 or 4 bay Synology, 2 drives at a minimum, set up Synology Photos for your phones, Synology Drive for your files, and active backup for your PCs. That gets you off 3 or 4 subscriptions after the initial setup. Then for the offsite copy that turns this into a real backup instead of just storage, make sure you're backing up your critical data somewhere offsite. For me, I've used Backblaze B2 in the past, but there are plenty of options. If you don't want Synology, UGREEN devices are generally more powerful, but the OS isn't as mature. For beginners, that generally means Synology is the better fit, but UGREEN devices are great options for many as well. If you decide to buy a NAS and want a full hands-on setup for either, I've got complete beginner's guides on Synology and UGREEN linked down below that you can follow. So that's the long and short of it. One device that can replace multiple subscriptions that you currently have, and it can do way more than that. Things like a local video or music library that can stream media to your devices with Plex or Jellyfin, or an application like Home Assistant where you can build an entire smart home management system. The possibilities are broad, but a NAS unlocks just about all of them. With that in mind, I will leave affiliate links down below for some of the devices that I recommend. But with that said, I know this was a lot, so if you've got any questions, please leave those in the comments. But other than that, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.